Hello, and welcome to this week's topic discussion, which is your wheel of life. If this is your first time hearing that statement, wheel of life, well done. You will learn something new today. But if you're familiar with the term, I hope that this presentation you will at least learn something new. And if you have any opinions or any other alternative views, please leave them in the comments below. Now, at some point in your life, you are going to have to create your own life. And that's what we're talking about on this channel, creating your creative life. You might need to take reins from your primary caregivers, and that means envisioning your own destiny instead of being told what to do, when to do it. And yes, you might have to then start selecting and deciding on your own beliefs. So, of course, most of us we grow up in families where we're told what to believe, how to believe it. And when I talk about belief, I'm not only talking about religion, I'm also talking about other things. You might have stereotypes about other people's ethnic groups, about racial differences. And there comes a point in your life where you have to look at the things that you thought were facts, reassess them, and decide whether you continue believing those things or you charter your own course. So you basically at that point you have to become the you that you want to be. Sometimes, of course, it's easier if that you is in line with your primary givers. However, it's harder when it's not. And for many people, especially moving from one generation to the other, there's always going to be something that you don't agree with your parents with or your guardians, but you must make a stand for it. And yes, it's not easy, but it should be done. That's what is called growing up into adulthood. You need to be able to define who you are and what you're about. And with that definition, then comes your life. And your life has different aspects. And we're going to put your life as a wheel. And when we talk about your life as a wheel, we're looking at all the different aspects that come with making that life. And in this presentation, I've just chosen the most simplified wheel of life that I could find. You are at the center, and those six aspects are the type of aspects that will probably affect you, or you will determine them in one way or another. So, for example, your finance. Before we know it, we are asked what you want to do when you grow up, or what you want to be. Most of the time, our answers have to do with finance and career. No one ever says, I want to be an auntie, or I want to be kind, or I want to be, I don't know, a dan. Well, even when you say a dancer, somehow you are looking at it, or the people who are asking you are looking at it from a financial point of view, as in how you're going to take care of yourself and be self sustainable. And in this case, you have to think about it. There's like that age, whether you're after college or after high school, where you decide what type of employment you would like. Do you want to be self employed? Do you want to work for a specific organization? Some people die to work for a specific organization, whether it's a big NGO or a big corporate giant or transnational or even national companies that you have your eye on, or you have a project based life whereby you engage yourself in different projects and they make you money and you move on to the next, or you live an allowance based money and allowance based life, which many women are privileged to have. Sorry guys. And yes, whether we like it or not, as women, yes, we do financially sometimes live an allowance based life when you're a housewife and you are not necessarily the one earning the money directly through working in a formal job, but you get a partner and that partner funds your life. Hey, it's allowed, it happens. And yes, I know there are um, other things. Homemaking is a is a real thing, and so, but technically speaking, you'll be getting an allowance from your spouse. Then the second one is the mental and the educational aspect of that wheel of life. And this one you can choose or not choose, but it will still affect you in one way or another. Whether you choose to go through the formal education where you continue after high school to do university, go to a college or technical college or, yeah, apprenticeship, that is your means of learning. Or you can then say, look, I'm going to teach myself some, and a lot of people have done that. They find a sector that they want to be in and they teach themselves and they work themselves in it, and that's still learning, particularly business. A lot of people have taught themselves business and they have survived in life. Then the third one, the physical and the health aspect. Now, this one is about your body, two things: body movement and what you eat, right? Physical and health. So, we're talking about whether you're going to do a sport, what are you going to engage in to keep yourself feeling energetic? Is it a sport or yoga or going to the gym or taking a walk every day? At the same time, you may have to decide what foods you take. And the physical aspect is sometimes determined by things beyond you. So, for example, if you've got allergies, you cannot eat certain foods, right? And so you need to then know what are the alternatives or what sort of foods you want. And then there's some people who choose, look, I've been eating meat all my life, I'm bored with it, I want to be a vegan. Or for one reason or another, you decide I only want to eat white meat. It's now at this age, at that level, you can do it because you've taken charge of your life, hopefully. Right. And then moving on to the next one is the social and cultural aspect. Now, in this sector is where you have your friends and groups of interest. So you can have friends that you've had since high school, and faith brought you together, but you should also be able to navigate this aspect of life, this part of the wheel, and that helps you to have, they say friends are the family that you choose, right? So you get to have people who you can talk to, you can confide in, you can have good times with. When things are tough, you can go to and consult, ask decision making. Even if you have a husband sometimes or a wife, sometimes your friends who might have been there before that person have feedback or insights that you might miss. And so it's important to have that social connection, your friends, and people you do your hobbies with. So sometimes you can even have a spouse who has nothing to do with your hobbies. You love each other because of other things. Hobbies are good. You can join clubs where you go once a week, once a month, and just hang around those people as part. And this is something you must decide in your life to do or not. Then the very important aspect for a lot of people is the spiritual and ethical aspect of life. Now, you can choose. There's a point in life where you can choose to either keep your parents' religion or your guardians, or dump it and choose another religion. And for Christians, sometimes it's not even about choosing. You have the same religion, but now you're choosing a different church. You're still choosing what I call the conventional spiritual life, because that's what people know. Or you can choose the alternative. You coming from a Christian home and now you want to be humanist or spiritualist, and for that has to work for you. You make that decision, right? And then lastly, and not least, because I think I've made reference to it throughout the rest of the wheel, is your family and home. And in this case, your family and home, there's two, of course, your first family, your primary family, where you've got your parents, your guardians, your extended family. How are things with them? Are you in talking? Are you talking to each other? Do you call each other regularly? Do you have times where you call? What happens at family meetings? Do you dread to go to them, or they are a source of comfort? And that's quite important, yes. And of course, in family, you cannot, especially in the African context where we are still close to our extended family, you may not get along with everyone, but how does that affect your getting along with everyone else? So maybe you've got an auntie or an uncle who you just don't see eye to eye. Does that affect your relationships with everybody else, your cousins and your grandparents, whoever else is within that family? That's that one family. And then the second family is the one that you make yourself. So you're choosing to have your husband, a wife, children. How is that going? Are you happy with the situation or you are low on the situation? And so, as you can see, a wheel is round, and for it to turn without effort, it needs to be full, right? And what life coaches usually do is that they will go through a process with you of self assessment. And in the self assessment, you then grade each part of that wheel of life. So out of 10, like that's what I usually use. Out of 10, what is your financial career looking like? So you can do this at any age, but I really, really recommend it usually for people who have taken charge of that life. If you're still living under somebody's roof, it's very difficult to do the self assessment, I'm sorry to say, because a lot of the things are not in your hands. But you could, but it's very different. It feels so different. And sometimes people do this wheel of life assessment so that they get out of those situations of dependence. Remember, it's good to have interdependence, but full dependence on other people is not good. And also your own, like your independence, people love it, but it's not also ideal for you to only lean on yourself. You're always going to need people in your life, but to what extent? And can you on your own determine that extent to what you need people? So out of 10, you choose how your financial, mental, physical, social, spiritual, and ethical, as well as your family home is, and then you redraw how your wheel of life is. I encourage you to be honest with yourself. It might hurt you, but it will also be the beginning of a healing process, and it will guide you. Doing the self assessment of your wheel of life will motivate you to plan out steps, specific steps. So now you know, okay, so in finance, what do I need to do? Do I need to put out more CVs? Do I need to borrow money to start a business, or do I need to start using the skills that I have to get out of the way that I am? You know, your mental, your educational, do I read enough books? Do I go to enough seminars? What are you watching on media? Is it things that are just gossip? Do you ever watch anything that's going to help you learn a new skill? Your physical and your health, how many times you take a walk in a week? Are you, and it's got nothing to do with weight or what you look like. It's about how you feel. Are you energetic? Are you groggy? Are you angry? Because when you don't move your body, believe me, your body fights back. And sometimes it doesn't fight you back, it fights the people outside. You become just mean and, yeah, and just tired. You don't want people around because you're not moving your body. Your social and your cultural, when was the last time you participated in activities that are cultural, singing, dancing, or just sitting around a fire and talking to other human beings? Your spiritual and your ethical, right? How do you connect with your inner self? It's quite important, as well as your family at home. After all said and done, you should then have a realization after. And this is why life coaches usually start with the wheel of life, because more often than not, it helps people realize that they need help in their lives. And when I read, and I know it's not just as simple as just doing a wheel of life and then your life changes. Of course, there's so many external factors that may affect you. But I want to leave you with this quote that it matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am master of my fate, captain of my own soul. You are the captain of your soul. And I hope that by the end of the week or even the month, you go through your wheel of life and you find out how best it can roll. From my heart, to yours. Thank you so much for being here and for watching this video. And please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Also, don't be shy to visit opiniocreativity.org, where our website where all our exciting programs are showcased. And if you've got any questions, just get the details from there. Until next time, bye.